Oh, hello. Today is haul day, book haul day, and I have several things to show you. A question for you. So I have been slowly getting some Ice Planet Barbarian merch because, it exists at this point because there's enough people who love Ice Planet Barbarians as I do. I got some stickers, all kinds of cute stuff. Should I include that in my next haul? I've been collecting it and I could do like a full spread. Let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing that. I'm enjoying getting it, so I thought potentially you guys would enjoy seeing it. I have a t-shirt, I have it's a whole thing. Anyway, let me know. Also, some bookish related swag I wanted to show you is that Boardwalk sent me one of their new messenger bags, and this is the support your local library one. I also put a reading is sexy pin on it, which was not included, but I just added that. And this messenger bag is friggin' fantastic. They also have it in the gray pattern with the orange and yellow font, it's sort of 70s vibe. So anyway, just wanted to mention that. If you guys are interested, I'll have the link below. That is an affiliated link, and you can get 10% off if you use Looks Like Whoa at checkout. And anyway, I just think this is super rad. I'm gonna start using this as my hospital bag for the days where I have to go in for treatment. So, loving that. But anyway, without further ado, we'll get to actual books. So we'll start as always with things that people sent me. So first I have Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. This comes out next March actually. And this is a friends to lovers story. Friends move in together and start having sexy feelings towards each other. Love ensues from there. Tessa Bailey writes some very steamy, dirty talk, so I'm expecting that this is gonna be pretty spicy. But anyway, I'm looking forward to this, and Avon sent this to me. Like I said, it comes out in March, so thank you to Avon. And then William Morrow sent me this collection of Laura Lippman's work that is coming out next January called Seasonal Work, and this is a collection of sort of mystery type short stories from Laura Lippman. I believe there's also one, including one never published before novella, and she is, a master, per the back, and the award-winning master of psychological suspense. So I've always been intrigued by her kind of thriller type books, but I've never actually picked one up. So I'm excited to try some of her shorter work because I often like to start with authors with short stuff. That tends to be a pretty successful strategy for me. So I am very hopeful about this, and thank you to William Morrow for sending this my way. Alrighty, okay, we've got a stack of books that I've gotten that I have not yet read, so we'll just start making our way through these new books that have come into my collection. So first, we have Keeping Secrets by Nora Roberts, which is actually a bind-up of The Last Honest Woman and Dance to the Piper, which are the first two books in the O'Hurley series from her. So this was at Target, and anytime I see one of those bind-ups that I don't have at Target, I usually try to pick them up. You'll see another one in the red bucket here in a little while. I am trying to read all of Nora Roberts, so get excited whenever I see one from her I don't have at Target. A very different tone for this next book. We have the Penguin Classics edition of The Origin of the Family, Private Property, and the State by Frederick Ingalls. This is basically arguing that patriarchal family constructions as we know them today are tied to capitalism, and it's like a critique of that. This for a video I'm thinking about making, and I'm definitely very intrigued to get to it and see what I think, but this is basically sort of a classic of nonfiction from good old Ingalls, so we'll see how we do. I do very much enjoy this call-out line. The modern individual family is founded upon the open or concealed domestic slavery of the wife. Provocative and ties in very nicely actually to a lot of history of gender relationships in evangelicalism that I have read about in the past. Another nonfiction pick, you're actually going to be hearing this phrase repeated several times because I'm working on a lot of new video ideas right now, and so I've been picking up a lot of different nonfiction books in support of that. But I picked up Disfigured by Amanda Leduc, which is on fairy tales, disability, and making space. I did pick this up for a video idea I have, but also because I've just been hearing really good things about this. I think I first heard about this from Books on Lala, but then I've heard about it from several other people who've also read it, and they thought it was very thought-provoking, very interesting. I think Jess may end up picking this as a book communal read at some point in the future. So anyway, I am excited to dive into this. And actually, Scribd has the audio, so I may read with my eyes and my ears at the same time on this one. Then we have a pre-order that came in, A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee, which is a YA sort of horror type novel. It is dark academia with witches at like an elite boarding school, and I've actually seen pretty good reviews of this. I've heard a lot of like, ooh, this wasn't quite what I was expecting kind of reviews, and for some reason I thought this was much longer than it actually is, so I'm actually kind of jazzed that looks like it'll be a pretty quick read when I get to it. But anyway, pre-order that came in, this came out at the beginning of August. Then I picked up a physical copy of Magpie Murders by Anthony Horowitz. I have the ebook copy, which I DNF'd because I just wasn't in the right mood for it, but I was like, I'm very intrigued by this. I'd like to get back to it at some point, and this dropped down to like $11 for the hardback, and it has deckled edges, which I personally love, so I decided to go ahead and grab a physical copy in hopes that it will spur me on to get to this sooner rather than later, because I do think I'm gonna like this. I just love anything that's sort of meta in a book, and this is a very meta kind of situation, so I have high hopes for this, even though I've DNF'd it once. That feels like a weird statement, but it's accurate. Next, we have Run by John Lewis and Co. John Lewis is sadly no longer with us, but this is the sequel to his original autobiographical graphic novel trio called March. This is called Run, and this is about his time as a US congressman, and I'm just so excited because I absolutely love March, and I'm expecting that this is going to be amazing. So I feel like I need to save this for when I just need something like balm for my weary soul kind of a thing. Like just something to feed my spirit. This feels like the kind of book that I will pick up when I have a moment like that. So very excited for this to finally come out. Then I picked up The Darkest Corners by Kara Thomas. I actually picked this up on the recommendation of Alexa Dunn, who was on a live stream with me, and we were talking about YA thrillers that we really loved, and she sold the hell out of this one. It actually sold out at Amazon right after we did that live stream, so good job, Alexa. You moved some copies of that book, but it came back into stock, and so I picked up a copy. I love Kara Thomas's YA thrillers, and I wasn't even aware of this one, and I don't even really know what happens in this. It kind of doesn't matter. It sounds like two friends see something that they shouldn't have seen, and then like a killer is after them. So anyway, I will get to this eventually, someday. Who knows when. Then another nonfiction book that I picked up. When did I pick this up? Well, I picked this up on the recommendation of Rhea, the book Fench, when we were doing a live stream for the book Communal Read over on Jess Owens's channel. They mentioned this, and this sounded amazing, and it also, again, I think may play into a video idea I have, but it's called Dress Codes: How the Laws of Fashion Made History by Richard Thomas Ford, and I just think that this sounds super interesting. It's like the history of, it says, a revelatory exploration of fashion through the ages that asks what our clothes reveals about ourselves and our society. So this is the kind of like social history that is my literal actual jam when it comes to nonfiction. I love social history so much, and it came at a high recommendation. It's newly out this year. I'm jazzed to get to this one. And then the last one I picked up but just haven't read yet. I've actually read excerpts of this in the past, but this is a companion to crime fiction, which is a textbook about the history of crime fiction. So like mystery thriller. Once again, this is, I think, going to play into a video essay that I want to work on about the history of the mystery genre. So I am excited to have a copy of this. I'm hoping that I will be diving into several sort of like literary study type things I have about mystery that I haven't read before, or at least read in full over the next few months. So this will be one of those books. I feel like this goes with my romance textbook. It's also basically kind of a textbook. Your girl's a nerd, okay? I love academic press books that are literary studies of genres that I'm interested in. That is definitely a whole shelf on my bookcase. And then we get into things that I've already read / collection picks. Two books that I both picked up this month and read this month. One was this bind up called Sunshine Season by Nora Roberts, which I also got at Target. And this had Temptation and The Best Mistake. These are two early category romances from Nora Roberts that I really loved. I am finding that I'd read one or two of her category romances back in the day, and I don't remember loving them, but the ones that I've been picking up, I've been having a lot more success with in recent months. Ever since the Roberts readathon, so I'm excited to be finding category romance from her that I really enjoy, and I would definitely say both of these counted. Temptation takes place at a summer camp, and The Best Mistake is between a single mom ex-supermodel and a local sports reporter. So these were both just super light fun. And then Cultish, The Language of Fanaticism by Amanda Montell, is basically a book about language, specifically talking about the language around high control groups. So cultish being both an adjective for those groups, but also like a type of language she's trying to describe. And this was very thought-provoking. You will see this, you've already seen this in videos, and you will continue to see this in videos from me because I found it very interesting. Then I picked up 2 physical copies of books that I've already read before but wanted to have in physical form. One was What's Your Pronoun? Beyond He and She by Dennis Barron. He, him, his. I'm surprised this didn't make more of a splash when it came out. It's not like the best piece of nonfiction I've ever read, but it is very thought-provoking and very interesting and has a lot to say about essentially the fact that a personal pronoun that is basically like gender neutral has been something the English language has sought for a very long time. And so he essentially talks about the history of the singular use of they and how that is, they was used that way by Shakespeare, by Austen, and essentially people interested in English grammar for centuries have been talking about this missing word and how they has often colloquially filled that void. So anyway, it's a very interesting nonfiction book, and I'm just a sucker for books about language and words. I just really like that as like a subgenre of nonfiction. I am filming later and I realized I totally forgot to tell you guys that I did pick up the Book of the Month Club edition of The Heart Principle by Helen Huang to match the other 2 that I already have, and I knew I wanted this in hardcover, so I just got the one that matches the hardcover editions I already had. So I had mixed feelings about this. You can see that in my August wrap up that I actually just filmed. Yeah, I had mixed feelings about this, but did really ultimately enjoy it. Just think it's not necessarily a genre romance in the way that we typically think about that label. So anyway, buyer beware, but I personally did really enjoy this book, and I'm happy to have a matching copy for the other 2 that I have. And then we've got the 25th anniversary edition of Sabriel. So we finally have Sabriel in a nice hardcover edition, which I have been wanting and longing for. You know, in the early days of BookTube, I gave away my original mass market paperback copy of Sabriel, which I guess was the right thing to do. I kind of regret doing that though, because it has sentimentality associated with it, but I do at least now have this lovely hardback copy that will, you know, be on my shelf for many years to come, and I just love this book. It's so wonderful. And then last but not least, a couple more collection picks. So I am slowly acquiring every book in the realm of the Elderling in this particular edition, and actually City of Dragons I ordered last month, but it didn't come in to the first day of this month, and then this one came in at the very end of this month. So I do have these both. I usually order like one of these a month, and the 2 that I got this month were City of Dragons and Dragon Keeper. This is in the Rain Wild. Oh, actually I just realized this is the wrong one. I actually got Dragon Haven. So I already showed you Dragon Keeper. I got Dragon Haven, which is book 2 in the Rain Wild Chronicles, and then City of Dragons is book 3 in the Rain Wild Chronicles. My bad. Pretend this is Dragon Haven. I think that will do it for this haul. Definitely let me know what you thought of any of the books that I mentioned. Let me know if you've read any of them, if you're interested in any of them, etc. Let me know that in the comments below. And yeah, I think that will do it for this video. So if you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, follow me on the social medias if you are so inclined. I have all that information listed in the description box below, and I think that will do it. I hope you're having an absolutely lovely day today, and I will just talk to you soon. Bye!